Hello, my name is Leah Sugarman. Welcome to your quick 15-minute Vinyasa flow. For this practice, no props are absolutely essential, so begin in child's pose. So find a comfortable version of this shape that you like. Your knees could be together or apart. And stretch your arms forward in front of you as you release the weight of your torso over your thighs and soften your forehead toward the floor. Take a moment to settle into your body and start to connect with your breath. Set a slow and steady pace to your breathing that you can keep throughout the duration of your practice. And then when you have that, rise up high onto your fingertips. Lift your elbows from the floor and stretch out through your whole back body as you reach your fingers forward. And then slowly tiptoe your fingers toward the right side of your mat or even off of it. And soften and relax your torso down. You're welcome to release your palms down as you lengthen from your left sitting bone all the way up through your left fingertips. Elongate your whole left side body. And if your palms are down, rise back up onto your fingertips. Walk your hands back towards center and then continue moving them all the way over toward the left side of your mat or even off of it. You're welcome to release your palms down as you lengthen from your right sitting bone out through your right fingertips and stretch your whole right side body. On your next breath, rise back up onto your fingertips. If you've lowered down, and tiptoe your hands back forward. Release your palms flat down to the floor, roughly shoulder width apart, and then root down into your palms to rise up into a tabletop position. So align your shoulders over your wrists and your hips over your knees. And then from here, reach a bent left knee open toward the left side of your mat. And begin to make circles with your knee. As wide as you can move in any direction. And start to find the full rotation of your hip joint. On your next breath, reverse directions. And then slowly release your left knee to the floor. And this time reach a bent right knee open toward the right and begin to make circles with your knee to find the rotation within your hip. On your next breath, reverse directions with your circles. And then slowly release your right knee to the floor. Walk your hands forward, roughly one of your own palm's distance. Tuck your toes underneath and lift your hips up high into downward facing dog. So feel free to take any organic movements here that you like. You can bend into one knee at a time. You could sway your hips from side to side. Just play around here in this first downward dog of your practice and do whatever feels good for your body. Warm up any little places within your body that are calling to you. And just take another 2 breaths here like this. And then when you're ready, find your way back into a neutral downward facing dog. And lift your gaze, look forward between your hands, and slowly tiptoe to walk your feet forward toward the top of your mat. Feel free to bend your knees as much as you'd like to get there. Once you reach the top of your mat, surrender the weight of your torso forward and down. Let everything hang heavy. On an inhale, lift your torso halfway up. Rest your hands wherever they feel comfortable and lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold forward and release. Bend your knees deeply until you can plant your palms to the floor. And take a big step back with your right foot. Soften your right knee down to the mat and rise up high onto your fingertips. Sink the weight of your hips low and elongate the crown of your head toward the sky. Inhale, relax your hips. And then exhale, send the weight of your hips back to align over your right knee. Tiptoe your fingers in closer toward your body and flex your left ankle. Lift your toes. Option to keep your left knee bent or slide your heel forward as you lengthen your spine. Option to hinge from your hips and fold the weight of your torso forward and down over your front leg. If you folded, inhale, slowly rise back up. Bend deeply into your left knee and ground your foot to the floor. Bring your fingertips back to frame out your front foot. And then tuck your back toes underneath and lift your back knee up off the floor. Immediately energize your back leg. Kick out through your heel, lift your thigh bone high. Ground down into your left foot so you can press the floor away and reach your arms up toward the sky. Bend your front knee deeply, elongate your back body. Inhale here, and then exhale, release your hands back behind you and take a hold of opposite elbows. Roll your shoulders down your back, hug your shoulder blades toward each other. Root firmly into your left heel and stretch and straighten your left leg as much as you comfortably can. Relax the weight of your right heel down toward the floor. There's no need for it to ever reach, but keep the weight of your heel grounding down toward the mat. Energetically draw your legs toward each other as if you're scissoring your legs toward each other into the midline. And then option to stay here as you elongate your back, or option to keep that length as you hinge from your hips and fold forward over your front leg. Inhale, root firmly against your front foot to slowly rise back up if you folded, and then bend your front knee deeply, sweep your arms back up toward the sky. Lift and lengthen through your whole spine, and then exhale, release your back heel down toward the floor as you pivot on your foot and turn your toes to face the long edge of your mat. Open your arms and your torso toward the side, reach your arms out into a T shape, and turn your whole torso to face toward the right side of your mat in Warrior Two. Bend your front knee deeply. Grow taller through your back body as you align your shoulders over your hips. On your next breath, flip your left palm to the sky and exhale, lean and hinge your whole torso toward the back of your mat. Rest your right hand wherever it reaches as you lengthen your left side body and spin your heart toward the ceiling. Inhale, ground down against the floor to lift your torso back up into a Warrior Two shape. And then lean the weight of your torso as far forward as you can. Release your left forearm into your left thigh and spin your right arm over your head with your bicep by your ear and your fingers reaching to the top of your mat. Lengthen from your right fingers all the way down to your right toes, and then spin and rotate your heart toward the ceiling. Inhale, ground down against the floor, slowly rise back up into a Warrior Two. And then root against your left foot to stretch and straighten your left leg as much as you comfortably can. Again, lean the weight of your torso forward as far as you can reach. And then when you find your edge, release your left hand down. Now you can rest your hand onto your thigh, your shin, or just allow your fingertips to dangle toward the floor as you stretch and extend your right arm toward the sky. Equally lengthen both sides of your waistline and spin your heart to face toward the ceiling. Inhale, root firmly against the floor. Bend your front knee as you rise back up into a Warrior Two shape. And then release your hands to your hips. Stretch and straighten your front leg and pivot on your left foot to spin your toes to face toward the long edge of your mat. Turn your heels in and your toes out, and then bend your knees deeply and sink low into a squat. Grow tall through your spine. Keep this length in your back body as you open your arms out wide into a T shape, and then bend your elbows, reach your fingers toward the sky in a cactus shape. Sit your seat low, but lift your spine high. Inhale deeply. Exhale, release your seat a little bit deeper. Slowly release your hands to rest over your thighs and root your hands against your thighs as you lift and lengthen your spine. Inhale, stretch the crown of your head up. And as you exhale, dip your right shoulder in toward the center of your mat as you spin your torso to the left. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, spin in the opposite direction. Dip your left shoulder in, spin to the right. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, ground down against the floor, stretch and straighten your legs. Pivot on your toes, turn to face toward the top of your mat, and step forward into a mountain pose. Lift and lengthen your spine, soften your knees, and lead with your chest. Dive the weight of your torso forward and down over your legs. Inhale, lift your torso halfway up. Exhale, fold forward and release. Bend your knees deeply until you can plant your palms, and this time take a big step back with your left foot. Soften your back knee to the floor, rise to your fingertips, lengthen your spine, sink your hips low. Exhale, lean the weight of your hips back to align over your left knee. Walk your fingertips closer toward your body. Flex your right ankle. Option to stay here or slide your heel forward and straighten your leg. Elongate and lengthen your spine. Option to stay here or lead with your chest as you hinge and fold forward over your front leg. If you folded, inhale, slowly rise back up. Walk your hands back forward, bend your front knee deeply, ground your foot to the floor. Tuck your left toes underneath and lift your left knee off the mat. Root firmly against your front heel to press the floor away and sweep your arms to the sky. Bend your front knee deeply, sink your hips low, but then lift and lengthen through your whole spine to stretch the crown of your head up. From here, release your hands back behind you, catch a hold of opposite elbows, and then root into your front heel to stretch and straighten your front leg as much as you comfortably can. Relax the weight of your left heel toward the floor. Totally fine if it doesn't reach. Inhale, elongate your back, an option to stay here, or exhale, lead with your chest and fold forward over your front leg. Scissor your legs toward each other to help stabilize your balance by squaring your hips forward. If you folded, root firmly against the floor to rise back up. Bend your front knee deeply and sweep your arms back up toward the sky. And then pivot on your back foot, turn your toes to face toward the long edge of the mat, ground your heel, and open your arms out wide into a T shape in Warrior Two. Bend your front knee deeply, elongate your spine, and then flip your right palms to face toward the sky, hinge and lean toward the back of your mat, rest your left hand wherever it reaches. Elongate your right side body and spin your heart open. Inhale, ground down against the floor, rise back up to a Warrior Two, and this time lean the weight of your torso forward toward the top of your mat. Release your right forearm to your thigh and spin your left arm over your head with your bicep by your ear. Lengthen your left side body and spin your heart open. Inhale, root firmly against the floor, rise back up into a Warrior Two. Press down against your front foot to stretch and straighten your front leg as much as you can. And again, lean the weight of your torso forward. And when you find your edge, rest your right hand wherever it reaches. You could always just let it dangle toward the floor as you stretch your left arm up toward the sky. Elongate both sides of your waist and spin your heart open. Inhale, ground down against the floor, bend your front knee, rise up to a Warrior Two. Stretch and straighten your front leg as you draw your hands to your hips and turn your right toes to face the long edge of your mat. Inhale, grow tall through your spine, and exhale, lead with your chest to hinge from your hips and fold forward over your legs. Let the weight of your upper body hang heavy and drip toward the mat. Inhale to lift your torso back up. Bend your front knee deeply. Pivot on your foot to turn your toes to the top of your mat. Ground your hands down to frame out your front foot and step your right foot back into downward facing dog. Elongate and lengthen your spine. Soften your knees down toward the floor. Untuck your toes and release your seat onto your heels or into any comfortable position that you like. Root firmly into the floor and lift up tall through the crown of your head. And then take your right fingertips behind your right hip. Draw your left hand to your right knee. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, spin your torso to the right. Inhale, come back to center. And exhale, spin toward the left. Take your left fingertips behind you. Draw your right hand to your left knee. Inhale, unwind your twist. And fold the weight of your torso forward and down over your legs. Relax your forehead toward the floor. You're welcome to have your arms forward in front of you, or you can relax them down by your sides. You're welcome to have your knees together or apart. As you return back to this place where you started your practice, just take notice of any small changes, any sort of changes that your practice may have created. Bring your attention back to your breath and continue to follow its rhythm. And this is where I will leave you today, so feel free to stay resting in this shape for as long as you would like. Thank you for sharing your practice. Namaste.